So we'll be bringing on Dashonna Bullock. She's a professional organizer. And I think I need that. You don't want to see my house right now. Or even this table, like you don't want to see it. She's a professional organizer and the founder of Modern Simplicity LLC, a full-service home organization company serving the Washington, D.C. metro area. She specializes in helping families affected by chronic disorganization and ADHD optimize and create beautiful and functional home environments that better align with their ideal lifestyle. She's known for her down-to-earth, non-judgmental approach. Dashonna focuses on decluttering, establishing easy-to-maintain systems, adopting new habits, and embracing a new way of thinking about possessions. That is deep. Dashonna is a certified KonMari Consultant, trained by Marie Kondo and our team in the KonMari Method of decluttering. She holds residential specialist and household management specialist certificates through the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals. Dashonna is also an ADHD and chronic disorganization specialist through the Institute of Challenging Disorganization. Wow. Okay, now I need to know where I fall. Using a unique combination of our signature Conquer Clutter method, supportive coaching, and inclusive education, Dashonna is passionate about helping families transform their homes and simplify their lives so they can live with less stuff and more joy. You can check our website, DashonnaBullock.com, www.DashonnaBullock.com. I'll hand over to Dashonna right now, and you can take it away.
My name is Dashonna Bullock. I am so happy and so excited to be here to talk to you about decluttering today, one of the things that I love. And I am very humbled to be in the presence of such powerful and gifted women. So thank you very much for inviting me to this experience. So what I'm going to be talking about today is transformative decluttering, how to reframe, refresh, and reset to live your best life. So let's go ahead and into it. So what is clutter? Okay. So no shame, no judgment, but who here still has jeans in their closet from high school or from college? Who has a piece of clothing that is so comfortable and so you just love it so much, even though it has stains and holes and things on it, you just can't let it go? Or who can't park their car in their garage because of all the stuff that's there, right? And like, I know that some of you out there can relate because I can't be the only one, so I cannot be. So we can all relate to this because that's what we automatically think of when we think about clutter. It's all of that physical, tangible stuff that we can actually see taking up our space. But let me challenge you with this. Who here has a relationship that is one-sided, where you do all the heavy lifting in order to hold it together? Who has a partner or a friend that doesn't respect your boundaries? Is there someone in your life who you're generally uninterested in spending time with, and when you do spend time with them, it feels very forced, and in your gut you can feel that it's time to move on, but you just haven't? So I'm here to tell you, friends, that is clutter as well. You know, clutter is not just the physical stuff. It's old ideas, toxic relationships, and bad habits. It's anything that's not serving a purpose in your life today. And I emphasize the word today because a lot of times we get caught up in, oh, I may need this someday. You know, let me hold on to this just in case. So you really want to look at what is holding purpose for your life today. So our time today is going to focus mostly on physical decluttering and touching a little bit on decluttering those relationships. But I do want you to keep in mind that clutter, we can accumulate clutter in many different areas of our life. So what does clutter cost? So clutter costs you in terms of time, space, money, energy, and relationships. So it costs you in the time that it takes for you to find what you're looking for to get through all of your clutter. It costs you in terms of space that you could create for what truly is important to you if you didn't have the clutter surrounding you. It costs you in terms of money that you spend buying duplicates of things because you can't find it or you forgot that you even owned it. It costs you in terms of the energy that you invest in taking care and maintaining this clutter. And it also costs you in terms of the impact that it has on your relationships because other people don't want to deal with your clutter as well. So in order to declutter, what we can do is we can start to reframe, refresh, and reset. So in terms of reframing, this is where our journey starts, and it starts with clarity. We want to have clarity with our current situation and clarity for where we want to go. And clarity is all about being clear in your intentions. We want to know exactly where we're headed, what we're working towards, and why. And this is going to sound very familiar after Doombe's presentation. The way that we're going to get that clarity is by creating a vision. Okay. So it all aligns up. That really is the start of it. We want to create a vision of the outcome that we desire. The vision helps bring clarity to the process. You want to think about what's working, what's not working, where am I stuck and why? What does my ideal space look like? What does my ideal relationship look like? How do I want to feel in this space or in this relationship? Because if we don't clearly define our reasons for undertaking this decluttering process, seeing it through is going to be that much more of a struggle. Your vision is one of your most powerful tools. It is the touch point for all the decisions you will make going forward. After we reframe, we want to refresh. Now, refreshing is our editing process, okay? So there are some things that you want to keep in mind as you're editing your possessions, your relationships, deciding what you want to keep and what you want to let go of. The first one is you want to pace yourself. You know, it's not a race. It's not a competition. You know, your clutter didn't just all of a sudden show up one day and bam, it's here. It was accumulated and collected over time. So you have to take your time with going through and assessing everything. You don't want to try and light the world on fire all at once. You really want to take your time with it and understand that it is a process. It is a journey. You also want to give yourself some grace. Okay. There are going to be times when you're not motivated, when you're not productive, you know, when you're feeling discouraged. Give yourself some grace. Okay. We're all human. We all make mistakes. You know, we have to pick ourselves back up whenever we fall down. So if things are not perfect, if your decluttering journey is not going the way you envision, just step back, refer back to your vision, and make sure that everything is aligning. Give yourself some grace. You also want to make positive choices. So when you're thinking about your clutter and you're going through and assessing, I encourage you to think about things in terms of what you want to keep as opposed to what you want to discard.
Because we all know whatever we place our attention on, what we focus on, that is what is going to be manifested in our lives. So rather than focusing on the negative aspect of, I need to get rid of this, I need to get this out, let's flip that and think more in terms of, does this item have a place in my life? Do I want to keep it? Does it align with my vision of my ideal lifestyle? Does it align with the person that I'm becoming? Some things that you can think of, or some questions that you can ask yourself if you get stuck kind of in that decision-making process are, is the item functional and useful? Think about, when's the last time that you used that item? Do you have more than one? Do you need 10 spatulas? Probably not. When you're looking at an item, would I buy this again? Does it spark joy? How does it make me feel? Does it make me feel happy? In terms of relationships, I encourage you to assess your relationships as well, gauging the level of respect, mutual interest, reciprocity, and trust in each of your relationships. If you find that any are consistently falling below your standards, ask yourself what you're gaining by hanging on to that relationship. And here again, I just want to emphasize grace. Because we're all humans, we're all people, we all fall short of the grace of God. So I'm not suggesting that if someone is not perfect and they're not living up to your ideal, that, you just let them go, or that it's not worth working on difficulties in relationships, because it is. But you also have to be very honest with yourself. If something is consistently taking up space in your life without adding any value, that needs to be reevaluated. We also want to think about easy wins first. Again, we're not trying to take on the whole world at the beginning. Start small. Small wins go a long way to increasing your motivation and your momentum. And remember, small changes, baby steps add up to big impact. You also want to handle everything, like literally handle everything. You want to assess everything. You want to touch everything. You want to question everything. And again, this goes back to clarity. How many of us have that pile of papers in our home that has been sitting there and it needs to be gone through, but we just continually walk past it because now it kind of blends into the background of our environment. But by touching everything and acknowledging everything, you bring it into the forefront and you see it with fresh eyes. And you can really take inventory of what you have and what things deserve some importance and energy in your life and what things no longer serve a purpose for you. So handle everything. And last, you want to let go with gratitude. Okay. In the grand scheme of things, nothing is wasted because we can always learn something from the things that we possess or the relationships that we're involved with. Be grateful for those lessons learned. Be grateful for the energy that it's brought into your life. But when it no longer fits you and no longer is aligned to your life journey, don't be afraid to express gratitude for it and let it go. So after we have reframed and refreshed, it's now time to reset. And this is all about aligning your environment and your relationships to your ideal life and your purpose. It involves having the perseverance, the discipline, and the grace, again, to implement the habits, systems, and routines that are needed to reset your life. So some ways that we can do this is to actually remove the clutter. Now, that may sound kind of obvious, but you would be amazed at how many people actually go through creating their vision. This is what they want their space and their life to look like. And they go through and they assess and they say, okay, I want to keep these things and these possessions over here. I want to think and let go. But then it never actually leaves their space. It never actually leaves their life. So your space, your life, your relationships, they're not decluttered until you actually get rid of the clutter. So once you've done the hard work of all the assessing and the decision making, don't forget to take that next step of actually removing it from your life. You also want to define homes. That is a bedrock of maintaining a decluttered and organized space. Everything should have a home, a definite home, not where, I'm going to put my keys by the door today, and then I'm going to put my keys in the drawer the next day. You want to have a defined space. That way, you always know where it is. You always know how you can find it. And this also goes for your relationships, the people in your life. They need to have defined spaces in your life. Not everyone is going to rise to the level of, the relationship you have with your spouse or with a sibling. Not everybody is going to be a best friend. Not everybody deserves the same or equal amount of energy in your life. So you really want to define those relationships that you're involved in, and to make sure that those boundaries are set. So clearly defined, consistent homes. Build decluttering into your daily habits. Okay. As you go about your day, if you see things that you no longer need, put it in a designated place for discarding. Pick that item up instead of walking past it. Create those boundaries for how you want to be treated. We need to build those small habits into our daily living. And lastly, it's also very important to model and communicate. Okay, you have to model in terms of decluttering, especially if you're in a situation where you have families, you have kids, and maybe they're not as, excited about decluttering their space as you are. But once you provide that model, they can see what the difference is it's making in your life. They can see how clear and calm your spaces look. And then a lot of times they want to follow suit. They want some of that good stuff too. And with your relationships, you have to treat people the way that you want to be treated. Okay, it's that old adage of you have to train people how to treat you. And last, you have to communicate. Okay, a lot of people, they don't know things until you tell them. You can't assume that they know what you're thinking or what your vision for the relationship or for a space is. You have to show and tell. So that I do want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes by Marie Kondo. And it's, the moment you start tidying, you reset your life. And I love it because that's what decluttering does. It sets you on a path to reset your life. When you are honest enough, open enough, brave enough to let go of what is no longer serving you, you make room for more time, more space, more love, more opportunities, more joy. Whether it's your physical belongings, your relationships, your habits, your mindset, when you allow yourself to be open to this idea of transformative decluttering, it can truly be life-changing. Thanks.